going to be pretty cool to race on tonight and tomorrow night. The way it's rubbering up the racetrack, I think the line's going to move around a lot. I think it's going to be a really dynamic race in that respect, and just hopefully we can have a good run.
Hey, Carl, that a couple of weeks ago up at Elkhart there, you won an interesting trophy and a nice bike to go with it. I heard you might have some plans for the bike.
Yeah, what we're going to do with we won the race up there at Elkhart at Road America, and Harley Davidson was nice enough to donate a really neat motorcycle to the winner, and I made a deal with Lonnie Klaus before the race that if we won the race, we'd auction that bike off on Copart.com and use the proceeds to go to back-to-back ministries, and that'll help him with his orphanage that he's going to run in Mexico. So as much as I want to take that motorcycle home and ride it, I think it'll be really neat to see it go for auction and hopefully raise some money for Lonnie. So what we're going to do is we're going to auction that off, I think, in October. I think that's when the plan is. So we're going to have a little build up to it. That'll actually give me a little time to ride it, I think. So I'm pretty pumped about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, make sure to get some good photos of me on it or something. But I don't know if people want me to ride it or if that makes it worth more or less. Probably less. But that's going to be pretty neat. Pretty excited about that. It was really neat for Harley to donate that motorcycle. It's a neat motorcycle.
Carl, these tracks used to be Roush Fenway's bread and butter. You know, obviously these are different cars. What's missing?
That's a great question. But you know, if you look at specifically how Casey ran in his Ford at Michigan, you know, we're hoping that as a group we can all kind of, you know, go towards that and run well here, because I feel like there's some similarities. It's a little different than some of the other mile and a halves. It's more like maybe Michigan. So that's kind of what we're leaning on. But it's hard to just point to one thing and say this is what it is. We've got, you know, multiple engineers trying to figure out that exact question. But the proof's in the pudding. You know, we've got to go out there and show that we can do it. But I think once we can kind of crest that hill, I think it'll be good. You know. So hopefully we'll have a good run. Our practice times mine were as competitive as they've been at a mile and a half for as long as I can remember in race trim. So I had a really good practice, and I feel good about our chances.
Carl, to kind of follow up on Lewis's question, next weekend is a rare weekend for the Sprint Cup Series, and you know there's a lot of talk about performance from Roush. Is that enough time to really get this thing turned around, just that one off weekend? That's a really good question. I hadn't thought of it that way because I run the Nationwide Series, so for me it's kind of the same thing, but it allows our guys, especially coming off of a race like this, you know, a mile and a half where, you know, I feel like we have some ground to make up. It'll give us a chance to really go back, look at everything, look at the stuff we tried this week, whether it works or not, and it gives the guys, you know, I think in a way kind of a much needed break mentally as well. I don't think they need to work any harder. You know, our guys are working as hard as they can, but I did run into one of my crew members he's real excited about taking his family on a little vacation next weekend. You know, and in a way, you know, our guys need that too. You know, so maybe it'll give everybody a chance to kind of walk away, come back, and look at things a little differently. I think that's important.
Carl, last week Brian talked a little bit about making some changes, especially in the chase.
Yeah.
I guess first of all, what are you hearing about what kinds of changes they might implement, and how do you feel about them, and how much is too much?
That's a great question. I think that's the question of the day, question of the year. I've heard everything. I've heard some wild stuff, you know, which I'm sure you guys have too. I think it comes down to this question: do you want to crown a champion based on, you know, do you want the champion to be the driver in the team that's performed best on average throughout the whole season, or do you want a really dramatic final race? I mean, it's pretty much what do you want, you know. Racing, I believe, is in a unique position in sports that after a weekend's race, everybody's ranked right there. You know, it's not subjective. It's not, you know, you don't have to go back and have a bunch of people vote on who's the best team this week or whatever. It's right there. Your finishing order is how you performed or how your result that week. So, to me, the true way to crown a champion is who finishes best on average throughout the whole season. I mean, that's it. Now, racing is complex.
there's a lot of things that can go wrong, so it'd be nice to have a mulligan or two. I think that'd be okay. But I just see the potential. There is a potential even now to have a guy who wins 30 races in a season who's not the champion. You know, how do you deal with that? You know, I guess there's always that chance, but boy, you start going down that road. I don't know. It just seems it just comes down to that question: do you want the best team and the best driver of the year, or do you want it to be dramatic?
Everything here is kind of packed into 2 days this year, as opposed to being 3 days in years past. Which is tougher, going cross country like you did a couple weeks ago between Elkhart and Sonoma, or packing everything into 1 day nationwide, Sprint Cup practice, qualifying, and a race tonight?
I really like this the schedule this weekend. I think it's great. It's good for all the teams. It's good for all the crew members. It's good for the drivers. It makes it a lot easier for me to say, you know, hey Kate, bring the baby. Let's go to the races for a couple days. You know, instead of you know, being there for 4 days. So I think this is it's good. I don't exactly understand the economic impact, you know, on these weekends versus you know, longer ones. But boy, it sure is nice to come here and race and then go to the next one. You know, that's nice.
What you're thinking about LeBron James thing on ESPN? Do you wish you were as big that you could have an hour of prime time specials going on? You're going to stay with Roush or whatever, or is that pretty a chintzy way for a professional athlete to work?
That's a good question. I don't know enough about LeBron James. You know, yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think of something clever to say. I'm sure everybody has something, but that's just pretty amazing how big of a deal that was. That's, you know, that was my my thought on it, but it was pretty interesting. I caught myself watching this morning and trying to figure out everything that went on. But now, far be it for me to tell him, you know, or judge him for what he's doing. He seems to be doing a pretty good job.
Carl, last week, Brian France, I believe he said something about the demographics of the NASCAR fans are getting older. I was wondering if you had any ideas about what you thought about attracting younger fans or keeping younger fans.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. There's some, you know, there's a lot of psychology involved and a lot of marketing and stuff, but what's that? Yeah, it's the oldest we've ever been, but I feel young. I don't know the answer, man. I just I'm kind of I like things simple, and I like things to I don't know the word for it, but to kind of follow history. You know, yeah, what's the word for that? Yeah, I like tradition. It's a good one. And so you're a wordsmith, but I don't know. I don't know. What is the question exactly? What do I think about it? Man, I mean, racing's cool, you guys. And here's the deal: we race at 200 miles an hour. Or, you know, there's always something that can happen. It's dynamic. It's exciting, and we can try. I have this overwhelming feeling like we're trying to make this championship some big dramatic thing. Every race we go to is a big deal. I mean, you know, it means the world to me to win a race. So I think that drama is there, and it's there every week, and it's every team versus every team every week. You know, and that's something that's unique in sports. And I don't think we aren't the same as basketball or football. And we don't have to be. It's okay. It's okay to be different, and it's okay to we can have our own unique way of doing things. And our tradition has been, I believe, it's been very successful. I mean, it's an honor to be a part of this. You know, and it will be an honor no matter how they do the point system, but I just believe simple's good.